ポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Hey guys, Kakarot197 again. This time with a review of the high-grade Gundam AGE-1 Normal from the Gundam Age series brought to you by Hobbyling Japan. Links to buy your own vegan extermination machine down below. And man, was this little kit full of surprises. In terms of looks, the only thing that you'll have to be concerned about is how much you like the actual design of the kind of blocky AGE-1 Normal and that quite interesting looking spoiler on the back. There's almost no seam lines to be found on the kit, and the only molding line can be found on that aforementioned spoiler. For stickers then, we get the usual eye stickers, main camera sticker, and back camera sticker. We also get a sticker for on the chest, but the good news here is that for people who like painting, underneath is color separation. Next up is a sticker for the DOTS rifle, and finally, my one complaint of this kit are these two rather big stickers on the knees. And with these few stickers, the only painting left to do is gray for the backside of these 4 yellow pieces on the skirt armor, the hand covers, and the ends of the inside of the shield. So straight out of the box, we get an almost perfect AGE-1 Normal that will get even better if you take the time to panel line it. Unlike the very plain line art, this kit has some extra detail that'll really shine once you do so. And now let's have a look at the equally impressive accessories that this thing comes with. Starting off with the weapons that are already on the machine, we get 2 beam sabers mounted on the skirt armor, and not only are these significantly easier to remove than I thought, but we also get not 2, but 4 beam saber blade effect parts. 2 normal sized longer ones, and then 2 shorter ones. And personally, I would absolutely love to see more kids do this, because we have seen in various animes that a lot of mobile suits do have the ability to change the length of their beam sabers. But the important thing for the AGE-1 is that they are a very secure fit in the hands. Another very secure fit is the DOTS rifle, the signature beam rifle basically of the AGE-1. This thing can do everything you'd want it to do. We have an extra handle that folds out, and then you can also pull out the whole front section to turn it into either a smaller DOTS rifle or flip it around, click it back in there, and now have the DOTS rifle in precision mode. Although I wouldn't change it too much because as you can see, it's already starting to shave off a little bit. And thanks to the amazing articulation of the AGE-1, it also has absolutely no problems holding on to that DOTS rifle with both hands. Then for defensive purposes, we get this very nicely detailed shield, which in my opinion has a lot of attention to detail put into it. It does have a gray backing, and all of those white parts, well, it is just one part, but they are all just in plastic, because I've seen a lot of model kits where the shield is the thing that they kinda cheap out on, but not this one. It has a peg that will allow it to rotate around, and can also go a little bit up and down. Now, it also has a very unique way of attaching to the arms. You can either peg it onto the back of the arm, or if you want to have it on the side of the arm, you actually have to remove the entire front section of the forearm, rotate it around, put it back, and then attach the shield. Quite a unique feature, but I can't argue with results. Then for some dynamic poses with your AGE-1, we also get an open left hand. And the final accessory is this part that is not only not mentioned in the manual, but it doesn't even have a parts number. Of course, we all know now that this part goes onto the chest and then turns the Gundam AGE-1 Normal into the AGE-1 Flat, but at the time that this model kit was released, there was no talk about an AGE-1 Flat whatsoever. So it's pretty interesting to see this piece already included for a future upgrade that at the time nobody had any idea about. The one thing then that you still have to do if you want to turn your AGE-1 normal into a true AGE-1 flat is painting the eyes yellow instead of green. So with all of those accessories out of the way, let's have a look at the amazing articulation that this thing has. The head is on a double ball joint, will go nicely up and down, rotates around all the way, and also has some forwards and backwards movement. The shoulders then go forwards and backwards a little bit, also go upwards a little bit, and then the arms also go nicely upwards as well. They will of course also rotate around all the way on that peg joint, will rotate around below the shoulder, bend at the elbow on two joints, which is something we can no longer take for granted nowadays. The hands are on ball joints, will wiggle around, turn around, and do everything a ball joint does. We get another ball joint in the waist, so it also goes a little bit forwards and backwards there. We'll also rotate around a little bit on that ball joint, but most of the waist rotation will come from the peg joint underneath that. Then we get another ball joint on the main thruster of the backpack. We also get ball joints on the front skirts. They are molded together but can be separated, allowing the legs to go really nicely forwards. And backwards movement is equally impressive thanks to the movable back skirt. And to help with that articulation, the legs can go forwards and backwards on an extra joint, which also allows the body to go a little bit side to side. And while we're down here, we might as well also look at the hole for an action base. And I inadvertently also immediately showed you how far they go outwards. That is some really impressive outwards movement. And the side skirts have absolutely no problem accommodating them. And they're also on ball joints. Then when we turn them around again, there is another movable part here. This folds out and might make you think that I forgot to mention that you can store the beam rifle there, even though I did show it in one picture, but you can't actually store the beam rifle there. And in that one picture where I did show you the beam rifle being stored on the back skirt, that was just me balancing the beam rifle on there because it doesn't click on there. The legs will rotate around all the way. The knees are double jointed for a complete bend. And then the feet are on the usual hinge and ball joint combo. The hinge gives it some really good forwards and backwards movement, helped by that ball joint. The feet will also rotate around all the way on that hinge joint, will also rotate around on the ball joint. And then of course, with the help of that ball joint, it will go side to side very nicely. Then finally the ankle guard, and I think this is the first time that we got this kind of weird connection, which I feel doesn't look quite as good, but does give us really good articulation. Goes up and down nicely, and also moves nicely out of the way for all of those crazy poses that you can pull off with the AGE-1. So I think it's sufficient to say that the AGE-1 has some really good articulation going for it, and you'll have no problem pulling off some really cool and dynamic poses. So as always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And well, for 1,200 yen, this is a really sweet kit. It's not perfect, but considering the time and the price, it's more than perfect enough. The added details, superb articulation, and great accessories make the AGE-1 a kit that has aged extremely well. The reception of the show might have been mixed, but this kit is absolutely worth adding to your collection. For size comparisons then, because I don't have any other age kits yet, here it is next to the Project V high-grade Universal Century RX-78-2 and the high-grade Cosmic Era Illstrike Gundam. And then finally, here it is next to the standard size Gym Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. And that's all for this review, brought to you by Hobbyling Japan. Again, links down below. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.